right, welcome back. Today is a day of updates, and we have several. First of which, we talked about the case where the mother abandoned her, was it three children? She abandoned her three children, 12, 13, and age 15, for 4 years. And they were living in a pigsty of a home that wouldn't even be inhabitable by an animal, let alone three underage children. And so we have some updates, and I want to go over them here because we got more footage and an actual walkthrough of the apartment that I want y'all to take a look at. So before we get into it, let's go over this update from the news clip and see what's going on.
New charges in one of the most horrific child neglect cases we've seen. An Oakland County mother accused of abandoning her three children for years, leaving them physically, mentally, and emotionally traumatized.
At the hospital, the children struggled with completing basic hygiene tasks like flushing a toilet and brushing their teeth because they had not done it in years.
34-year-old Kelly Bryant faces 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. If convicted, she could spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Yeah, this is a case that has shocked Metro Detroit and really the nation. Bryant will be in court for the first time tomorrow, but Jacqueline Francis tonight looking at how we got to this point in the first place. Jacqueline?
That mother, Kelly Bryant, is being held here at the Oakland County Jail. She is set to make her first court appearance in a matter of hours, so let's get you up to speed on how we got here.
It was unbelievable what they were living with for years. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, the word Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald used to describe the situation. It started on Valentine's Day, when a landlord called police for a welfare check on a Pontiac home. Inside, they found 3 kids abandoned in deplorable conditions.
Everything was covered with feces and trash.
Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard broke the news over the weekend and has been providing updates in the days since, saying the kids, aged 12, 13, and 15, had been living there alone for years, surviving on weekly drop-offs of food, having no physical contact with their mother or the outside world.
The only one of the 3 that ever came out was the young boy, and he came out twice. Once because he wanted to feel the grass.
Wow.
Which by itself is heartbreaking.
Jesus Christ.
And a second time to check the mail.
Now come the charges. 3 counts of first-degree child abuse.
If convicted, Ms. Bryant could face a sentence of up to life in prison.
Child Protective Services have placed the 3 siblings in the custody of a family member. With the arraignment set for Thursday, this case and the investigation are far from over.
I guess what stands out the most for me is no love. There was nobody there to care for them for between 3 and 4 years. No parent, nobody physically present to let them know that they were safe and they were loved.
I briefly spoke with the children's grandfather, who is believed to have custody of them at this time. He has no comment. Reporting from the Oakland County Jail, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
The grandfather. So that means he is the father of the daughter, and he didn't want to comment. Well, it's not shocking that he doesn't want to comment on his daughter being a complete piece of trash, because even still, I mean, at the end of the day, that's his daughter. But so before we move on to this press conference that they actually held to talk about this case, I want to show y'all the footage from the actual walkthrough on the apartment that they have. And let me warn you right now, it is hard to look at. That was the kitchen area. Look at the kitchen. It's pizza boxes everywhere. These kids were living I believe in the last video, they said that they were living in one room. They were sleeping on one mattress, and some of the kids were sleeping on pizza boxes. You can see in this video right here, there's just a line of just pizza boxes and trash on the floor. Now, I saw a lot of people commenting, and they were basically asking, like, at ages 12, 13, and 15, why didn't these children have the basic, just hygiene principles, and why weren't they conducting themselves in a manner to which they were just able to at least keep the house from being this trashy, this dirty, this disgusting. But I don't think y'all really understand. If we rewind the time 4 years, 4 years, that takes us back to 2020, roughly 2021. That's pandemic times, right? The world is in chaos. On top of that, you throw in, let's rewind time. We also have to take away the ages. That means that the boy would have been 11 years old. The two girls would have been 8 and 9. So 8, 9, and 11 years old. Now ask yourself why this house might look like this. You have your answer. At 8, 9, and 11 years old, do you think you would have been able to take care of a whole household and keep up? And you think you think you could leave your 8, 9, 11-year-old at home, come back 4 years later, and you think it's going to be immaculate looking? No, absolutely not. It's going to be a pigsty. It's going to be trash everywhere. So I think that some of you are looking at this through a lens that is not really accurate as to what was actually happening 4 years ago. This started 4 years ago. And at 8, 9, 10 years old, 11 years old, you do not have the wherewithal that you would have if you were a full-on adult. But let's continue this walkthrough.
That's sad, man, honestly.
Yeah. That's the mattress right there. This is the living space where these children are sleeping. You can see that mattress looks soiled. It looks completely filthy. I would even be worried. Honestly, I'm not surprised, or I am surprised. I'm surprised that these kids didn't have some type of disease that they had contracted just from being sick. I'm surprised that they didn't just get sick with living in this filth. So that was the walkthrough, right? So then they held a press conference to speak a little bit further on it. But I want to read this right here. It says the Pontiac mother, 34 years old. Her name was Kelly Bryant. I want to put that out there because at first it didn't seem like they wanted to release those details and that information. But I told y'all that I was going to find it. Kelly Bryant is accused of abandoning her 3 children, has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. And she allegedly left her children there, 15, 12, 13, we all know, since around 2020, surviving only on occasional food drop-offs from their mother. Authorities discovered the children after the landlord called police for a welfare check on Friday, reporting that rent had not been paid since October and that he had not heard from Bryant since December. So that's how this case was broken, right? Landlord hadn't heard from her since December. It actually says she hadn't paid rent since October of last year. So now I want to move on to the actual press conference, and we're going to get a little bit of this coverage in here because I want you all to have as many details as possible so that we can clear up any rumors that may be out there.
Prosecutor's office. Standing here with us are Assistant Prosecutor Kanika Ferenczi, Assistant Prosecutor Lauren Benninger, Chief of our Special Victims Unit, Sarah Green, our Chief of Administration, Betsy Haig, and of course, Prosecutor McDonald. We're also joined by detectives who've been involved in the case from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. That's Lieutenant Sam Marsban and Detective John Brish. Prosecutor McDonald will announce the charging decision today and take your questions. But before she does that, I want to remind everyone that charges are only allegations and the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. Also, the details in the prosecutor's remarks today come from the swear-to in 50th District Court earlier today. Prosecutor McDonald.
This was a live stream, so the signal keeps breaking. So you all are gonna have to bear with me for a moment as I try to correct this stream.
First, I'd like to announce we'll be asking to terminate the defendant's parental rights. In every case of child abuse, my office focuses first and foremost on the best interest of the child or children and on holding those responsible for abuse accountable. The three children in this case suffered unimaginable abuse, our community, our county, our state, and even internationally, because people are rightfully concerned about the welfare of these children. And we're holding this press conference because, like all other decisions, we balance the interests of public safety, media attention and inquiries, and balancing everyone's right to a fair trial, which is why the events and facts that are disclosed here today are strictly confined to what's already been placed on the record in the swear-to this morning in the 50th District Court. When their circumstances became public, including the photos of the home, although law enforcement did not identify the defendant, she was quickly identified on social media and also has been reported in other news media outlets, which is why we are naming her today. We have recently, luckily, been fortunate enough to, for the first time ever, hire our public information officer, Jeff Watrick, who's in the back of the room. Many of you have already spoken to and will continue to, and we're lucky to have him. The children are currently staying with a relative. All three children received immediate medical attention at a local hospital, and they were interviewed by trained forensic interviewers at Care House. Considering what they've experienced, they appear to be doing okay. Obviously, the trauma here is significant, and my office, including our victim services section, will make sure these children are supported during this process. Today, the charges are 3 counts of child abuse in the first degree. This is the most serious charge for child abuse, and if convicted, Ms. Bryant could face a sentence of up to life in prison. In the swear-to this morning, on the record, it was stated that in 2019, suspect Kelly Bryant was living at the home, which I'm not disclosing the address at this time, in Pontiac, Michigan, with her 4 children. At some point between 20 and 2021, the suspect moved out of her home, leaving 3 of her children abandoned in that location, while 1 of her children went to live with their father. On February 14th, 2025, police were called to the home by the landlord. Police learned that the landlord was concerned for the welfare of Ms. Bryant, who had not paid rent on the property since October of 2024. Police entered with the landlord and discovered her 3 children, ages 12, 13, and 15. Her daughters were hiding in a bathroom that was filled with feces, piles of trash, and completely non-functional, while her son was hiding in another room.
Wow.
Police were astonished to find anyone in the location because it appeared to be uninhabitable, with piles of garbage and refuse several feet high, including large amounts of human excrement. The children were afraid to come out of their hiding places and to speak with the police. Police had to repeatedly advise the children that they were there to help and they were safe. The children's bodies and clothing were covered in feces, and the girls had difficulty physically walking outside of the residence. In addition to the physical difficulty, they appeared to be and were immediately overstimulated upon leaving the residence. All 3 children were transported via ambulance to the hospital and showed signs of severe neglect. At the hospital, the children struggled with completing basic hygiene tasks like flushing a toilet and brushing their teeth because they had not done it in years. The children were forensically interviewed and described having virtually no physical contact with their mother, suspect Bryant, or the outside world in several years. The girls had not left the residence in several years, and her son had only left the home to go into the yard approximately 2 times, never venturing away from the house more than to check the mailbox.
All right. So we're about 6 minutes in. This entire press conference was 18 minutes long. You all are certainly welcome to go and check this out. I recommend it if you want to get more details and facts on this case. But I just wanted to say this really quickly before we get out of here. the type of trauma that these kids experience are going to live with them for the rest of their lives, unfortunately. And I don't know what that means as far as what they turn out to be, but I just hope that God is with them the whole step of the way, because it's going to be rough. And shout out to that 15-year-old boy. He tried to do everything he could to take care of his family and his little sisters in the absence of his trifling ass mama. But like I said, I'll stay close to this case and keep you all informed. Y'all drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Later, y'all.